Hello, I'm here to talk about Chen Yi's Memory. So, this was written for violin, but we have taken it over on the flute, and I think it sounds amazing on the flute. Um, while you're preparing this piece, though, I think it's really important to listen to recordings of violins playing it because they really can get the sliding between the notes really well, and I think that you'll really understand the piece when you hear it on violin. So I'll put a link to my favorite performance of it. So let's start at the very beginning. Talk about how we do this sliding from note to note when you see the line going down or the line going up to the next note. So Chen Yi, whenever I've worked with her, she loves to have that really prominent. So you have to do all that you can to bring it out. So I've heard sometimes flutists talk about this moving between the notes or having this effect of making a note go down or go up, trying to do it without rolling in or rolling out. But I think here we have to be so extreme that you need to use that in your arsenal of technique. So I want you to use your lips, bringing them in or out or whatever you have to do to get the note to slide either up or down. And then you use the inside of your mouth as well, almost like you were singing it. Try to keep open. And then also roll in or roll out. So the first time we have a big one of these is the second measure when you go from the E and you just kind of let it drop down. And really go for it, okay? As we're playing this, the very first note slide we have is that C sharp to the D. And since C sharp is so easy to make sharp, what I do is I start nice and low on the C sharp and then really just kind of make it go sharp. And then try to kind of gently put your fingers down for the D so it's not this sudden attack. Let's see if I can do the first line. I couldn't stop. I had to do the full line because that's the whole first phrase. So I want you to be willing to try all these little effects on your own because I think everybody could play this really differently and still have the end result of this singing and crying out. But I'll tell you what I do. For example, in measure 4, as I'm going down from the G to the F, I kind of so it's fun to think about this because I don't think about when I'm doing it, but I'll start on the edge of the F key and put it down and then twist onto it. So I'm kind of working into that F. And then when I go in the next measure, measure 5, F to the D, I play the F and then I slide onto the D. So I'll put the keys down and then slide, but it's all kind of very fluid. So you just want to be, we're always trying to be so precise with our fingers, but at this point, you can't be. You have to kind of gently put fingers down. If this goes down first, that's okay because you're just kind of sliding into it. Okay, and then we have a harmonic in measure 5. So what I want you to do is just keep your first finger down. You're going to finger the low E and overblow or change your lips so that the harmonic comes out. You can work on that in warm-ups as well. So the high E will pop out, and then we've finished the phrase with that wonderful 7. So try that, and we'll move on to the next phrase. In the next phrase, what we have to do is prepare for that harmonic. So in measure 7, you have some rests. So what I tend to do on the rest is I move my pinky over to the C position, to the low C position. And then when I begin at measure 8, letter A, I already have my pinky ready to go for the harmonic, which is going to be a low C fingering, and the G is going to come out. So it sounds like this. All right, and nice and forte. And then as we go on, so all of a sudden, Chen Yi has given us a long phrase, which we have little bits that kind of grow into the next, and there's almost feels like there's no chance to stop. It's like your mind is going from one thought to another. So so allow yourself to take a big breath on any of the rests so that you can really play through it. If you need to, of course, breathe. I'm all for breathing, but see if you can try to avoid it as you get used to these phrases. Okay, so the next stop, we're gonna go on and try this at measure 14. Okay, so at measure 14, we get into feeling almost out of control with our emotions, right? And so Chen Yi has written this into the music. And for me, it's a moment of really getting really forte, letting your articulation be nice and harsh. It's more of an attack in my mind, and it's when sorrow gets a little ugly, right? So in measure 15, I don't know about you, but as I'm trying to play out, I totally lose count all the time of all those 16ths. So do your best. I think the most important thing is the effect, but I try to think 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. But I love to wail here. You know, you just really let it out. Now, there are times when I can manage to not breathe by the time I get to measure 16. It would be so great if we can make those 16s go, 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 and then explode into measure 16 and try to get up to the G in one breath. Sometimes I just can't because I'm wailing. And so, you know what? Wail and take a breath and then put your emotion back into it at measure 16. I'll see what I can do. I haven't played this in a little bit, so let's see what I can do. Okay, so it's where I breathe. Every time it's different, but I liked that. I liked it. So allow yourself to kind of get out of control. And then in my opinion, measure 17, this is only my opinion, but it feels like, no, it's measure 20. It's sort of like we're gaining composure. You know, you've lost it and you're reining it in. Okay? So explore that a little bit. Go crazy. So this next section is really fun. I feel like the longer I play it, the better I get at it, because my intention is at measure 26 to have the 16th notes be pretty fast. Whenever I hear violinists do it, you know, it's a very fluid, and they make it sound pretty easy to just go back and forth between these notes. And for the flute player, this fingering isn't too bad, and if you have your thumb B flat down, it's no problem. So just try to get it so that starting at measure 25, you can feel comfortable going fast. When you plan out your breathing also, it's important. I like to take a breath. I really like to take a breath before measure 3 in measure 27 before beat 3. Because I like to go up those 5s and then get right into measure 28 in one breath. So you can kind of decide too. That would be breaking up the slur, but I like it that way. Okay, so when you're starting at letter B, see if you can compose yourself and then start very small. I love how it just comes out of nothing and then you're back again into a mezzo forte, going into a forte. So try to maximize the drama with a very, I think of it, when I'm playing it, it feels like a pinpoint on that F sharp. I like to finger my F sharp with the middle finger. So let's see. I don't know where to stop. I'm going to stop there. But, okay, I totally didn't breathe where I told you to. So, I don't know why. But it wasn't bad the way I did it either. So you have the ability to breathe in different places. I think that went pretty well. So, as you can hear in 33, just allow yourself to fade away on this sound. And that's nice because as you're clicking, you can breathe in and catch your breath and then keep going. So I'm going to start, how about I'm going to start on that trill and measure 33. Let's see what happens next. Well, I just realized something that I've never noticed. Measure 33. I've been playing the wrong trill, and I even played it wrong for Chen Yi, and neither of us noticed. So measure 33 should be a G sharp to an A natural. What I've been doing is leaving my thumb B flat down. So and I was playing, but it should be. So you just have to finger that G sharp and move one finger. Okay, so after we've got these key clicks done, take a breath. So that was a little rough, but you get the idea with these trills. It's all there. There's nothing too hidden. One neat aspect of this piece is measure 40, where you have the top melody. If you were a string player, you could hold or sustain the note, but the flute has to try to give the sense of sustain while moving then on to the lower notes. So it's supposed to sound like there's two notes, but it's more of a mental thing than what we can actually do. It's fun though in measure 41 because we can at least give the lower quarter notes and then that lead up to the triplets. We can give those lower quarter notes a little bit more length to create this undercurrent of melody underneath those triplets. Okay, and yes, you get to flutter tongue on high C for fortissimo, and then we have the falling by half steps coming up. So what we do, just try it as you do it. It's kind of weird because if you hear violinists, it really works on the violin. So I just kind of wing it, and I have no idea what I'm really doing. So let me think about it. And somewhere around the A, maybe the B flat, I start to just kind of fade out. So now let's see. I wiggle fingers, thumb, and do something like that. It's I'm sure it's more organized in my mind when I'm playing everything, but that's kind of what I do. So see what you can come up with, and then 47. So here, we've got this G. So finger that low C to get the harmonic out. Love that moment. So for me, I love it that she writes emotionally, because for me it's the last sigh. You're really tired out from this emotional journey we've been taken on. So now for the harmonics, the very ending, low C. Now here you can play the low D fingering. For the very last note, sometimes what I like to do is I finger the high G, and then I just put these 3 fingers down. I guess I'm also doing this, I didn't even realize I'm leaving my C fingers down. So that was better. I'd have to practice it. It's a little rough at the end here, but you get the idea. I hope you have fun playing around with it, and I can't wait to hear more versions of this, more interpretations, and more emotional performances.